Hello. Hello and good morning. So, I have another My Thoughts video. I showed this last night. Well, last night as you would have seen the video. Thank you, Shaz. Absolutely love it. And this one, today I will be doing dots of many colours. So we'll see how we get on with that one. Okay, another one of my 20-minute or less My Thoughts. This one, SX is the channel name, and SX underneath the climate global warming. What do we call it? Climate change. Underneath climate change, My Thoughts, SX says, why is there so much cancer, and is it environmental or dietary or what? So why is there so much cancer? So my thoughts, obviously these videos are only ever right for me. Why is there so much cancer? There's probably the same amount of cancer as there's always been. It's just that now it's detected better, quicker, earlier. That's why it seems that there's much more cancer. If it's detected early enough, which in many cases it is, then it can be dealt with far superior, far better than it ever used to be. So early detection, which is what they're trying to do all the time, works clearly. So I'm not sure that there is more cancer. It's probably about the same amount. And obviously many years ago it would have went undiagnosed basically. No, I used to think that cancer was actually a man-made thing, to be quite honest. A bit like anthrax and various different things. I always thought it was something that maybe they tested in a lab and it got out, you know. And if that's the case, then why doesn't it affect all of us? Or does it affect all of us and we're just not diagnosed and we don't get ill with it? I remember being a child, somebody said that we're all born with cancer. We've all got cancerous genes, and sometimes they manifest, sometimes they don't. Again, whether that's true or whether that was my friend Alan who told me that because he'd heard it somewhere, I don't know. I don't know much about cancer whatsoever, really. I do find it strange that people like the royal family don't seem to have cancer and they live till they're 90 or 100. I find that very strange. Okay, SX asks, do I think, you know, my thoughts, do I think it's environmental or dietary or what? I mean, I change my thoughts. Anything new comes into me, then I will change my thoughts, and I'm quite happy to do that. Some people get a set view of something and they stand by that for their lifetime. I never do. If somebody tells me something new today, and I say, I didn't know that, well, then my old thoughts are completely changed, you know. So what I used to think, and this is what people will tell you, all the crap in the air, all the chemicals that we breathe, all the processed food, of course we're going to get cancer. It's a wonder we don't get cancer when you think about it, you know. And that was my line of thought. But I've changed that because in my lifetime alone, there's been like the Clean Air Act. We've got cleaner air now than we've ever had to breathe. Going back to my granddad's day, factories, industry, whatever, the chemicals, they used to just pollute the air and the rivers and all the rest of it. So they were breathing these toxins in, they were eating the toxins from the land, obviously because of the water and all the rest of it. and the toxins went into the air and it came down as rain. They were just eating that on a daily basis, and as far as I know, there was very, very few cases of cancer back then. So cancer seems to be quite a modern, I've done no research on this, but it seems to be quite a modern thing. When I was a child, I remember leukemia, the word leukemia, and I sort of looked into that. What is that? I kind of liked the word in a way, leukemia, just like it. And that's terrible, isn't it? Basically, that's cancer of the blood and bones, isn't it? It's a cancer of everywhere. Whereas often we get diagnosed with pancreatic cancer or whatever. But leukemia is just basically, it means cancer everywhere. They can now detect that far earlier and treat it. I don't know if they cure it. I suppose they do cure it. If you look at the cancer deaths, leukemia is right down the bottom. 1%, 2%, very, very low down. Now in the UK, the biggest killer is still coronary, still the heart. So heart disease, heart attacks, problems with the heart. Some children are born with a hole in the heart, and that sort of thing. That is still the #1 killer, but fairly close to it. #2 is cancer. So cancer is a huge thing. Cancer is also an industry. A lot of people have got very, very rich off the back of cancer. And over the years, over my lifetime, I've seen and read and heard people always say there's always been a cure for cancer, always. Well, actually, I don't believe that, because I think eventually it would have came out, wouldn't it? And we would have found out about it, we would have used it, and we would have cured all cancer. So I don't believe that there is a cure. I believe that they are searching for a cure still, and perhaps they always will. I think it's, I would class cancer as the modern day plague. I think that's what it is, and it just attacks anybody at random, sometimes reasonably severely, and obviously sometimes it's terminal. Yeah, that's about my views on cancer, really. So is it environmental? Well, I've just said about the Clean Air Act. I've known people, okay, it's just numbers, but I've known people that have ate crap, processed crap, all of their life, and they didn't die of cancer. Of course, we're only talking about the people that I know. How many people is that? 5? You know, out of, what is there, 77 million is there that live in the UK, something like that. And I've known 5 people to eat crap and they've all survived without cancer. Hello. My battery died in my camera. Something I've learned is that when my battery dies, it gives you no warning whatsoever. It goes beep, 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 off. That's it. What are you supposed to do during the time that it goes beep, beep, beep? I haven't watched the first part because it's still on the camera, so I don't quite know where I got to. As a number of hours have gone by, but I think I was saying about talking about cancer and environmental sort of issues. So basically, just to sum it up really, people say that we live in a chemical laden air. Well, we got the Clean Air Act, so I don't believe that that's true. Oh, I'll tell you what I was talking about was processed meat, processed foods, things like that. I know people that have lived off crap all their lives and they don't have cancer. So we've also got the Food Standards Agency, and although we may think it's crap, you know, you might think a minced beef pie is full of rubbish. It's probably not. Yes, it's mass produced. Yes, it might contain too much salt or sugar or whatever, but ultimately it appears that it's reasonably harmless. Saying that, yeah, I'd much rather have fresh fruit and fresh veg and things like that, really. I do eat crap from time to time, of course I do, quite a lot of the time. So yeah, I don't know where cancer comes from. I don't know that it attacks one system over the other. I don't know why. I don't realise why. I don't understand why that should be. They used to say many years ago smoking caused cancer. I don't know if they say that now. It's actually been proved that that's incorrect. Smoking doesn't help, but nor does breathing fresh air. We have a lot of petrol engines, a lot of diesel engines. You go for a walk and you're breathing in chemicals and fumes. You know, even though we've got the Clean Air Act, you're still breathing things in, particles. We cook using things like aluminium tins and pans and things like that. And my theory on that is that some of that seeps into the foods, which possibly causes dementia, Alzheimer's, possibly. But cancer is an awful, awful thing, and I know at the moment I know 2 separate families that are living with it, and it's an awful thing. No rhyme or reason why somebody gets it. And to answer your question, SX, who left the thing, well, it wasn't a question, it was just my thoughts really, but my final thoughts are, who knows? Who knows? They say there's a cure for cancer. They've been saying that for years. Never has that materialised. They say that if the cancer doesn't get you, then the meds, in other words chemo, does get you in the end. Who knows? I just believe there's always hope as well. I always believe there's hope. There's miracles that happen. Miracles within the system, within our body system, that happens right at the very last minute when we're not expecting it. And if you remain hopeful, and if you remain positive and you've been diagnosed with cancer or anything, if you remain hopeful, you remain positive, you never know where that might lead. So to anybody that is suffering, you have my blessings, but remain hopeful, remain positive, and just see what happens. Okay, so yeah, cancer, my thoughts. The next one is going to be from Terry, who is talking about the system. So I'll make that in a sec. Cheers. Be well, or be as well as you can be.